Hey everyone, hello, hello. So tonight, we drift into a pocket of time whispered about in old folk tales, feared in midnight prayers, and studied by scientists who marvel at the human brain's nocturnal theater. So, what are we talking about? The witching hour. The witching hour's roots twist deep into Western Christian symbolism. It's often framed as the devil's hour, an inversion of 3 p.m., the hour traditionally associated with the death of Jesus. If 3 p.m. marks divine sacrifice and spiritual light, then 3 a.m. becomes its inverted reflection, a symbolic shadow where dark forces in the medieval imagination might find their strongest foothold. But long before this theological framing, folklore was already whispering its own version. That sometimes between midnight and dawn, the boundaries of reality thin like breath on cold glass. In these old stories, this is when witches cast their workings, spirits drifted freely, and demons have permission to speak. Not because evil musters itself, but because the world grows quiet enough for people to listen. Folklore insists that this hour, whether pinned to midnight or the iconic slot between 3 and 4 a.m., is when the veil separating the living and the dead becomes the most delicate. Not torn, not broken, just permeable. This belief shows up worldwide. In European tales, ghosts wander roads and crossroads seeking unfinished business. In Caribbean and African traditions, spirits are most active before dawn, especially when night is pregnant with silence. And in witchcraft lore, moonless nights amplify energy, and the hours before sunrise are prized for divination and spell work. No matter the culture, night becomes a hinge. One side physical, one side metaphysical. And the witching hour is the moment it swings open. But let's dim the candles for a moment and switch on the lab light, because science has its own story to tell. Between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m., most people drop into some of the deepest wells of REM sleep. And during this phase, the amygdala, our emotional alarm, it fires freely. And the prefrontal cortex, home of logic and rationality, dozes like a bored night watchman. Body temperature is at its lowest. Cortisol, the hormone that keeps us alert, is at its minimal trickle. This is the perfect recipe for vivid dreams, sleep paralysis, nighttime anxiety, that eerie feeling of being watched or not alone, or sudden wake-ups with racing thoughts or even dread. Our ancestors didn't have neurobiology language, but they felt the strangeness of this hour. The witching hour may be supernatural in folklore, but in neuroscience, it's a time when the mind becomes a stage for primal fears and luminous imagination. Here's the quiet truth. The witching hour has power because we complete the ritual ourselves. At 3 a.m., the world is hushed to a needlepoint. Streets are empty. Birds haven't begun their morning choir. Neighbors are dreaming. Even the electricity in a house settles into a soft hum. It's not that the supernatural become louder, it's that everything else becomes quieter. When the world dims, the mind brightens, sometimes too much. This is the hour of the poet, the insomniac, the grieving, the unmoored, and the deeply imaginative. Across the world, the witching hours has cousins and echoes. In Japanese folklore, the 2 to 3 a.m. window is linked to the yurei, wandering spirits. In Islamic traditions, the last third of the night is spiritually potent for prayers, reflection, and divine mercy, not fear. And in Mexico, spirits visit during Las Noches Negras, the black nights before dawn. And then in Celtic lore, this time belongs to the Ishi, ancestors and otherworldly beings. Notice how not all of these are dark or sinister. Some cultures fear the hour, others honor it. Some use it for devotion or healing. The witching hour is a mirror. What you see in it depends on what you carry into it. Today, the witching hour appears in horror films, leaning on psychological unease at 3 a.m., paranormal shows treating it at its peak activity time, witchcraft practitioners using the pre-dawn stillness for meditation and spell work. Sleep researchers study nighttime terrors, lucid dreams, and conscious states. Some people even use this hour for creativity, calling it the artist's quiet corridor, a time when ideas slip through unguarded. Modern people don't all fear the witching hour, some court it. So, what is the witching hour really? A spiritual crossroads, a psychological vulnerability window, a cultural story folded into the night with a hidden stitch? Perhaps all of these. The night has always been our earliest mystery. The witching hour is simply the moment its lessons are closest to us, offering its old quiet tales. So yeah, that's it for today's video. Thank you for wandering through the dark with me. Until next time, may your nights be deep, your dreams be kind, and your imagination always leaving a light on. All right, everyone, take care. Peace.